right, Shalom. Before I get started, I want to give all the glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakwadash. Double honors unto my apostles and others, a great millstone. Peace and safety to all the sincere Akim that's out here pushing this word of truth and in all sincerity. Shalom. Right? And I want to do this very quick lesson, Lord willingly. It's edifying. Dealing with the picture that you're seeing on your screen. I'm going to read it real quick because I'm driving. But as the pictures you'll see in the post-production, it says you're creating problems in your head again. Stop that. And, that just made me think about just this walk, and, we're always, see, the thing about it is that the Lord is raising us up to be judges. All right. And when we're in this spirit of judging, sometimes you got to know when to cut it off. And that's easier said than done. OK, so when things is peaceful, you just be somewhere over analyzing and creating scenarios. All right. And that's not the way to go. OK, it happens. I'm speaking from experience. Is that sometimes your mind can just create problems that aren't even there. And the scriptures give us the wisdom and knowledge to understand that and how to combat it. Like I said, I'm driving, but like Wisdom of Solomon, the 9th chapter tells us that the mortal thoughts of men are miserable. And they push down the earthly man. It's oppressing, it's pressure, because this flesh is all about the flesh is its own demon in its own sense. The flesh literally wants you to be in, the flesh wants you to be in drama. The flesh doesn't necessarily always. Some people find peace in drama. There's a certain level of peace that's found in drama. That's why people are more afraid of peace and harmony than they are chaos and destruction. And if you don't believe me, look at the world we live in. There's no peace out here. There's no harmony. People find peace in it. And, my mom used to say this, if you sit in shit long enough, it'll become comfortable. So it's the same energy. All right. So, it's important while we're in these days and creeping into these terrible and dreadful days that you don't fuck yourself up thinking about things that you don't got no control over and thinking about things, just thinking too fucking much, man. I know that sounds hard, like you don't really have control over your brain. I get it, but this is where you have to create scenarios or areas or whatever, however you want to look at it, that allows you to reach a certain level of peace. All right, a certain level of peace and harmony within your own life. Okay, that's the goal here. Okay, now it's like I got a little distracted. Police out crazy today in Atlanta, Slack. But Ephesians the 6th chapter tells us. Matter of fact, before I quote that scripture, 2 Corinthians the 10th chapter tells us that our warfare is not carnal but spiritual. So this fight is all in your head. This is all starts in your head. See, you think it's all about the man across from you, or the man down the street, or the man or on the other side of the world. No, it's the fight is within yourself, man. All right, and part of that fight is not giving into the miserable thoughts that our flesh and our body try to create. See, and I'm gonna get to my point. What inspired me to think about this lesson when I saw this picture. Sometimes us as men, and I'm speaking specifically to the men now, the women, the sisters, they have their own level of pressure to especially I'm talking to women that are fighting sincerely in the name of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. You have your own pressures. All right. So I'm not negating that. Which if the spirit allow, I'll speak on that as well. But I'm speaking specifically to the men right now. And for the men, there's a pressure. there's a pressure that comes hard down hard on the men, man. All right. You know, the Lord told us that. You know, Yahweh Shai told us that. He told us that there's no honor. You know, a prophet receiveth not honor in his own land. You know, roughly paraphrasing. You know, and it's like, as being a man, and you know, Chris Rock spoke on that beautifully, where he said, you know, women, children, and animals are loved unconditionally. Men are loved under the condition of something, and nobody understands the amount of pressure that creates. Now, the reason why I'm even speaking on this is because you have to understand and get over that hill. That's a heavy hill that can free up a lot of pressure in your own mind, is by getting over feeling like you aren't being appreciated for the things that you bring to the table. All right. I had a situation years ago, and I'm not going to speak on it in detail, but I had a really serious family issue occur in my family. And, you know, it dealt with my father, you know, let's just say a health issue. And, you know, it made me feel, I was angry, I was hurt by the fact that nobody was concerned about my well-being. You know, I get off the phone with one person, I got to call the next person, get off the phone with that person, make sure you call this person and make sure they okay. But nobody really was concerned about my well-being, and that's the curse of being strong. But it's only two ways. Do you want to be the person that needs to be pampered, or do you want to do the comforting? You want to be comforted, or do you want to do the comforting? All right. And the Lord gives us the spirit. You see, we set in a serious position, because our comfort, as according to Romans 15:4, all right, and the scriptures say, and also the scriptures say, the Lord would not leave us without the Comforter, which is the Holy Spirit, which is Yahweh Shai, the words. So we have a different aspect of comfort that we receive in this walk versus everybody else in the world. Like, as the saying goes, with great responsibility, basically the more you have, the more responsibility, the greater the responsibility that you have. And that's what it is with us. So I wanted to, like I said, you know, and then the scriptures also tell us in Ephesians, the 6th chapter, you know, that we wrestle not with flesh and blood, but spiritualities and principalities, you know, the prince of the air and so on and so forth, roughly paraphrasing. So you got to understand, there's a heavy spirit that's pushed out towards us in so many different ways. See, in this walk, you get attacked for being a man. You get attacked for being a so-called black man. You get attacked for being an Israelite man. You get attacked for trying to be trying to be a good man. All right. You get attacked for being a heterosexual man. All right. And that's the spirit. 144 on this trailer right in front of me, man. That's the spirit. 444s and 1 in front of. All praise Yahweh Shai. So when you understand that this attack, this is the elements of when John was telling us, and I think Revelation, is that the 10th chapter? All right, that I ate that little book, and it was, and that's a white truck too. That's a spirit, man. That's a white Ram, man, with 144 on the tag. You know, slack it. But hey, sometimes it be things like that give you a little bit of comfort, man. You know, not saying that we lean on that, but sometimes it just comes in the right. Like I said, it's a white Ram, Dodge Ram, with 144 on the tag as I'm talking. You know, so you got to be able to find the comfort. You got to find, and sometimes you got to create the comfort. All right, because it's on you. See, you know, like I said, there's a balance to this. You know, there's a balance where you got to be uncomfortable to grow. All right. But if you're going to create a level of, but if you're going to find yourself in a space of uncomfort, and hardships, it's still your responsibility within there to create a level of comfortability. And I'm not saying comfortability in the senses of being worldly and being a nigga and being this, that, and the third, because when you say these things, that's where men's minds automatically want to go. What I mean comfort is being stuck in the middle of a place, right? Being stuck in the middle of nowhere, right? On some alone camping type shit, and all you have is a knife that you use to carve wooden things to take your mind off of what you're going through. That's comfort. All right? This is prison. This is hell. All right? If you think you're just going to do a prison bid and you just going to sit against a wall and not talk and not entertain yourself, you got a whole nother fucking thing coming to yourself. You will go crazy. You will go crazy. Your mind will create bullshit for you to be intertwined with and entertained with. Okay? All right? That's just the truth. That's how our brains work. You got to trick your brain. All right? The mortal thoughts of men are miserable. Your flesh is meant to create miserable thoughts against you. Oh man, I'm getting old. Oh, I'm tired. This, that, and the third. You understand? So the key to it all is you are being put through a whole nother trial and tribulations than the average Israelite in the world. I'm not talking about in the truth. I'm talking about the Israel of the flesh. All right? Because why? A lot of the elect and a lot of the 1/3 is going to come out of this. And for the men that's been laboring, it's on you to be able to comfort. And like I said, I'm speaking on a specific kind of pressure that comes along. All right? We all, and I'm talking about myself first. You feel a pressure of like, yo, nobody really appreciates me for what I do or what I bring, whether it be your woman, whether it be your family, you know. I know a lot of brothers out there, you be dealing with the situation of, you know, you got family, you might have your mother and your father, and you might have siblings, but because people suspect that you're strong and you're handling yourself, that they kind of overlook you and forget about you. It's like the bad child gets the more attention. And that can make you feel a certain way, you know. These are things that we're not necessarily exempt from. We're not exempt from these feelings. All right. But ask yourself this: the scriptures say this. The scriptures say that the Lord is setting us up to be saviors. All right, in the book of Obadiah. Now, think about this, right? How many of us ever asked to see if Yahushua is okay? You don't. You just assume, you just know he's okay. You assume he's okay. You don't consider that. Why? Because he is our husband in the spirit. You get what I'm saying? So if we're being set up to be miniature Yahushuas, you got to feel that pressure of feeling like, yo, nobody really considers me. Nobody's considering what I'm doing and this, that, and the third, because that's where the level, the difference in the leveling between us and the rest of the nation is happening. And Lord willingly, we be part of that number. I pray that I'm part of that number. But I know that pressure in itself, that takes the wind out of you when you just feel like, yo, nobody appreciates me. You know, you feel like your woman don't appreciate you. You feel like your children don't appreciate you. And, you know, and the reality of it all is, it's never really that deep. See, we ask in the spirit, we ask for things, but then when it comes in and it presents itself and the pressure that comes from it and how hard it is, that's when sometimes it gets hard and it makes you want to just, you know, ball up and have a pity party or have a temper tantrum. You know, that's why I said it. That's why I said I wanted to speak on this, because you got to understand the positioning that we're being positioned. And I remember a brother said this to me, and that's why I'm doing a lesson on it, is who could, you in this truth and you know the truth, who can comfort you? Something happened to you or your family, who gonna comfort you? And then I had to think about that. My mother and my father, they bring comfort to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to act like they have no point or purpose. That's wicked. They bring comfort to me when I seek it. But overall, it's not the same. You know, it's not the same. And it's just, and I don't expect it to be the same in the spirit, because Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai is raising us up to be on another level, another spectrum of comforting of the people. All right. And if you just think that every time you have a bad day that, you know, your woman should, you know, rub your head and make it, help you get through it, or you want somebody to validate your existence, then you got a problem. All right. And that's what I'm going to close in up at this point with this, because a lot of what I'm talking about, it goes back to pride. It be pride in you that make you feel miserable. Now, again, granted, there are certain elements that we suffer that do make you feel bad. I'm not hard. I'm going through it myself. Where do you think the motivation for this lesson came from? But at the same time, I understand where you think you're going to find comfort at. It's just because of it's just the flesh. Like, damn, if I had this, it would. Yeah, it would bring comfort to you. Yes, it absolutely would. Yes, it would. You are right. If you had this, it probably would bring comfort to you. But now what? You understand? All right, so I'm going to close up here. I pray this lesson was edifying and hopeful and how uplifting, you know, and for the women as well, you know, the sisters, hey, just keep fighting, man. You know, if you got a husband that's listening to the truth and you dealing with that pressure of being next to him, sometimes just, you know, fall back into the primitive stages of being a wife to a husband, man. You know, rub his back. You know, ask him if he's okay. See, that's another thing too. You know, it's not that we get checked up on, you know, by brothers. Brothers will ask you how you doing, but even still, you know, it's kind of like you get to a point in your war where it's like, you know, you carry it. But if you're going to carry it, you got to be able to carry it. The scriptures say we got to bear our crosses, man. And that cross, it has a lot. It's not just one. It's just not a plank of wood, man. That burden is spiritual, man. All right. So with that, I want to give all the glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem Rakakwadash. Until next time, shalom.